What's up, guys? Running it back with another replay for you. And it's going to be a matchup on Scalendir's Cave. It's going to be between me and Spaghetto here. You know, Spaghetto is a very good tournament player, and we matched up in this one against one another, and it's going to be me on Khorne, and he's going to be on the Chaos Dwarves. And this is a pretty difficult matchup for each faction respectively, quite honestly. And quite often, I find it kind of comes down to, maybe not a true build roulette, just because Dom, enables you to bring in reinforcements of a variety. But certainly some builds for the Chaos Dwarves perform better against certain of the forces of Khorne here. But I'm coming in with some Marauders, unit of Bloodletters, Minotaurs, Skull Cannon there, and Valkia in the sky, always very reliable, and a unit of Chaos Knights here with my lovely Hounds of the Blood Hunt, chilling on the number 3 objective here. Gonna cap this one real quick for me, give me a nice little ticket lead in the early going, hopefully. Astrogoth Iron Hand for the Force of the Chaos Dwarves here. Goblin Laborers, lots of Chaos Dwarves, actually. A little surprising seeing these guys. They don't typically trade very well in this matchup, and struggle pretty hard against a lot of the Khornate infantry, but I don't really actually have that many answers for them in my build right now. Just the one Bloodletter. The Minotaurs and the Chaos Knights, they can do some decent damage, but again, not super built for taking down these very heavily armored infantry. And behind them is the real meat and potatoes of this army. And a little scary to see waddling out here is just 4 Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses. And they can do some nasty damage if given an opportunity. First shot from the Skull Cannon. Going in there, somehow this dwarf gets tossed all the way across the map, practically, and doesn't end up dying. Really good Burning Wrath coming in there from Astrogoth, and Valkia taking some damage up in the sky, so I'm playing very sloppy in the early going here. Not making the best decisions. Astrogoth trying to get on top of the Skull Cannon, but I do block him up with the Marauders, but he is going to scurry on out of here and get away from the Minotaurs, who are, they won't do great damage just because he is a small target, technically. But if they get a surround on him, they can pin him in place, and then with Valkia there, they can do some really good damage against him. He does scurry back to his the safety of his blunderbusses, which I'm sizing up right now, trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to be doing against these guys. Taking the fight against the Goblin Laborers, that's very safe for my Marauders. They are going to do great work there. These Marauders here going in, but luckily for them, the Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss unit kind of blasts their own men in the back there. But the other Blunderbuss has a little bit of a better angle, is getting some really nice shots against the edge of this formation. These guys getting absolutely smacked around, obliterated by those very powerful handgun type units. Really nice shot from the Skull Cannon, killing 14 models, man. This thing's very good at that. And taking a really nasty fight here against these Bull Centaur Renders and the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders there. This guy taking a bit of a smack in the face from the Chaos Knight here, losing his head there. Not doing too hot, but this is a pretty favorable fight for me. I do have 3 very powerful units here, and the Centaurs, as good as they are against large targets, and they are the Great Weapon variant, they can struggle against stuff like Hounds of the Blood Hunt, which do have a little bit of passive healing here, and then Minotaurs stacked on top of them. That's just a lot of damage, These guys, pretty low melee defense, and Minotaurs, obviously, Minotaurs of Khorne have great melee attack in general, and an amazing bonus versus large of 25, so they're very dangerous against the Renders here. But this is a lot of stuff to be trapped up, and my opponent is trying to line up some volleys here, get some good shots on Valkia, and out here on the edge, it's looking a little rough for me, but I do have another Chaos Knight coming out. Gonna be charging right up the center here, and my Bloodletters did do a good job of peeling off some of the Chaos Dwarf warriors here. I do believe these ones got hit by a Sloughtneer as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the case. So they're routing and running, and I'm going to be trying to use the Bloodletters and the Chaos Knights to clear up some of these Blunderbusses now, because I do see the opportunity here. My opponent, a little thin on the formational front. There's a big hole here in the middle, and Valkia and the Chaos Knights here get a very nice dive, pop the Horn of Corn on these guys. Or thought I did. Where'd that Horn of Corn go down? Anyways, not to worry. Anyway, getting the Hounds of the Blood Hunt onto the other Blunderbuss. These Chaos Knights doing a great job of mopping up this unit of Blunderbusses. Gonna just focus on getting rid of these guys and making sure that they're not gonna just rally back here in just a moment. Valkia, very good at chasing stuff down, actually. One of the better uses for her, honestly. This Blunderbuss unit taking a lot of damage. These guys have gotten okay value. This unit firing very happily from this hill, which is a very strong position. My Skull Cannon missing a shot there. It's been having a hard time. Astrogoth is just chasing this thing around. He does have magic attacks, so circumventing that physical resist, and also just having great armor-piercing values, so Skull Cannon just absolutely fleeing for its life at the moment. I'm going to try to keep that thing alive, but easier said than done. And over here, breakthrough from the Chaos Knights, but a massive, massive volley from the two Blunderbusses nails this one unit, pretty much killing the entire force there, but they do get on top of these guys and shut them down, which is giving me a good opportunity here to maybe get back in this game. I am bleeding gold value by quite a bit, 1,500 down, but I do have answers on the field for most of what my opponent has. I have lost one Bloodletter, but a fresh one out on the field. The Chaos Knights are doing a great job of shutting down the Blunderbusses. One is rallying here, but pretty low. Going to be able to deal with them potentially. And this one back here, also very low and very damaged as well. Taking a fight against the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders and Bull Centaur Renders here. Valkia fighting on top of the Marauders, which is going to be pretty nice for me. Vicious Burning Wrath going down. Spaghetto on point with those casts, but it does do a decent amount of damage to the Hobgoblin Cutthroats, actually, which is pretty nice for me, and the tie-up is giving me time to bring these Flesh Hounds out of the Vanguard, collapsing in with the Bloodletter support, and a relentless rage being popped on the Chaos Knights, just letting them stay unbreakable for the duration of this and not lose any models, which is very important, keeping their killing power quite high in their very beleaguered state here. Gonna chase these guys back and doing some nice damage while they're retreating and routing as well. Very important to kill routing units, more so than ever, quite honestly, in the new patch. And Khorne does chase routing units very capably. Sloughtneer coming down here just to finish off this tattered Blunderbuss. I really didn't want them firing anymore, and they are broken from the use of that Sloughtneer. It is a very powerful ability, one of the best in the game in my opinion, and is really one of the reasons why Valkia is just so versatile as a Lord option. In here, just fighting happily against the Renders. They do have good AP values, but she is not a large target, so not taking any extra damage, suffering any malices on her melee defense, and is just picking off models one by one off of this very expensive unit. So you love to see it. This is the kind of stuff that Valkia loves to fight, killing a couple of Chaos Dwarf Warriors there. She has some really sick animations, as you can see with that like spear drag that she kind of does. And I love the way she runs. That's actually how you would traditionally advance with a spear. You know, having that like big shield and like holding it over the top there to brace against. Pretty cool stuff. I love the animations in this game. The Tattered Bull Centaurs are doing some pretty good damage, taking out the rest of these Chaos Knights, but they did pay for themselves. Very, very, very favorable for me there. And back here, These Wolf Riders do catch this unit of Marauder Horsemen, which is very unfortunate for me. That is a very expensive unit, but I get a nice collapse with the Furies right after that, and I'm going to be cleaning these guys up pretty capably there. And, you know, going to give me a good chance to isolate this Chaos Dwarf, where these Marauder Horsemen with the axes might be able to do some really nice damage there. And we'll see how it goes. Minotaurs, they just killed this other very tattered Blunderbuss unit. Another great Burning Wrath. This one luckily missing. That is just a great spell, man. It does so much damage on the Overcast. And Astrogoth fully taking advantage of that. He has killed the Skull Cannon, unfortunately. Just couldn't save that thing. He's just too quick and persistent. Spaghetto being showing his chops, honestly, getting rid of that. That's a very annoying missile piece to have to deal with, the Skull Cannon is. Minotaurs, retreating them back. They've done a good job of getting the Bull Centaur renders dealt with. They've almost paid for themselves, but not quite. And out here, another, or not another, but a unit of Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits being taken down by the Furies and the Throwing Axes here. These guys are excellent in melee combat against infantry units of that type. Crazy weapon strength for a skirmish cav unit. I mean, 40 is something else. And they've got a really nice charge bonus as well, and, you know, with Frenzy active, they got pretty good melee attacks, so just a great unit. I absolutely love these guys. I used to not bring them too often, and I still don't over-rely on them more often than not, but it is really nice to be able to bring these guys in, and they can hold their own even in combats like this. But good catch by Spaghetto, getting these guys, just clipping the edge of them and just dragging the rest of the formation into combat there, doing some nice work. Bloodletters trading very well, almost 1,000 value on this unit here, and they're just clearing through the Chaos Dwarf Warriors and keeping me in the fight and off to the side here. Minotaurs taking Relentless Rage so that they can fight against these Kadai Fireborn. Very fun unit, and very effective counter to the Bloodletters, typically at least. Another Burning Wrath. Hitting this unit of Bloodletters, I mean, just look at the damage, man. I keep harping on it, but it really is one of the best spells in the game, honestly. It's like 9 magic, I think, for the overcasted version. It can take that much health off of a unit, and it can even get it can even take half health off of a unit. The spell resist is 35% on these guys, and it still did that much, so it's worth keeping in mind there. Kadai getting beat up really bad by that tattered Minotaur, which is a great catch for me. It's really helped even the value up, quite honestly, for me. And also, big MVP is this unit of Bloodletters. They've just been killing Dwarf Warriors, a few Laborers, doing some good damage against these Wolf Raiders, and going to be fighting back capably against the Bull Centaur Renders here, with Valkia landing in here, getting some nice attacks, just karate chopping that guy, absolutely wrecking him. Furies are great against Centaur Renders as well. They're also diving in and helping break that unit. And gonna probably be diving these Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with my Furies. Indeed I do. While the Hounds of the Blood Hunt intercept this pretty tattered unit of Raiders here as well. Just gonna take a second. I'm gonna slow this game down a little bit. There's been so much going on. It's hard to keep up with it sometimes. Some very tattered rallying horsemen back here. They're not gonna be able to do much, though, unfortunately. The number 3 objective has been secured by Spaghetto. I do have a bit of a ticket lead, though, to work with, which is nice for me. I am holding the center here, wrapping up the middle fight very neatly, in all honesty, right now, and reacquiring a value lead here. Hounds of the Blood Hunt, they paid for themselves almost fully that first go-around. They got shot up by those blunderbusses, though, as you might have seen, and really got wrecked, which is unfortunate for me. Furies, they're just clipping through the Raiders here, doing some pretty good work, paying for themselves adequately. And this unit of Minotaurs, fresh out on the battlefield, already killing off a Wolf Raider here. Gonna take a head-on charge against these guys, absolutely smacking them around. Minotaurs love fighting units like this, and this is just free charge on blood greed for them, quite honestly. Raiders don't have great AP values, and the Minotaurs are pretty decently armored for a Minotaur unit. I believe the Beastman variant has like 30 armor, something like that, and the Khorne variant having 70 and the same speed pretty much, I think. I think it's the same. It's pretty nice. Great fire from the blunderbusses here, nailing the bloodletters, doing a lot of damage in a Burning Wrath. Not the overcasted version, though. Thankfully, sparing these guys a bit. And Valkia taking the charge here, doing a good bit of damage herself, while also allowing the bloodletters to follow up in here and get some good damage. My other tattered bloodletter going to clean up this unit of blunderbusses who are trying to get some side shots of mine, other unit here. And despite the very tattered state of these bloodletters, they're just so strong against, you know, heavily armored infantry like this that they can do some pretty good work even with as much damage as they have already taken. You can see there they've helped get Valkia and these blunderbusses down to about half health there. Valkia in a not the best situation in the world, but I do have Demon Blade. Pop that, keep her a little healthier against the blunderbusses. And out here on the back objective, man, before I forget, killing the unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors here with my Hounds and my Furies, or just with the Hounds and the Minotaurs, actually. The Furies coming in now to respond to the Centaur Renders that are trying to assist in holding this #1 objective, which I am flipping here, and I got a fat Horn of Khorne coming down, buffing up all 3 of these units for the next, like, 30 seconds, 31 seconds, actually. You can see just how much damage these Centaurs are taking now. Very nice situation for me. Definitely going to be flipping this #1 objective now. It's getting it there. And, yeah, it's going to come down to seeing if I can make this still happen. I have a bit of a deficit in the value, but it's not fully reflecting the true value, I think. There's some funky chowder that goes on with when you resummon units. Sometimes it doesn't count the value of what damage you are doing against them. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know exactly how it works either, but it's very odd. But getting rid of this Bull Centaur unit is absolutely vital, and they really did not do much. This was their second go-around, and they got beat up horribly. They did good damage against the Minotaurs, but that's about it. Crushing this Goblin Wolf Raider as well. Another Wolf Raider desperately flying out here, but I'm just taking each one of these units out one by one, and gradually trading myself back into this game. You can see here the value not moving despite all the damage going in on this Wolf Raider unit. As I mentioned a little previously, that is probably why you might be wondering why you've lost games where you had a pretty substantial lead. Usually comes down to that. It's not really showing exactly what you are and aren't losing. Middle objective is taken by my opponent, but I did take the #1, and I'm taking the #3, and I got a fresh unit of Minotaurs out. Great, great unit. These guys, they were the ones that I think they just fought a unit of Centaurs and then got shot to death by blunderbusses. So they're going to be trying to, you know, do a little bit better this time around. Maybe make a little bit more of an impact. Blood? Hello? Marauders causing the trees to explode in blood. I'm sure Khorne is appreciative of that. Very odd, though. Valkia flying over the sky, and I'm going to be moving these guys to the middle now. There's a very lonely Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss unit that is prepped and ready, but they are certainly not going to enjoy their date. These are some very angry fellas. You know, they're, you know, they want some spaghetti, and there's none on the menu, so the only thing that's gonna satiate them now is blood. More Wolf Raiders, taking losses, and the Hounds of the Blood Hunt, man, oh my god, and this unit of Flesh Hounds, being an absolute nightmare for Spaghetto on this side point. And there's really not too much he can do here. I mean, the only answer that he could bring out that would be better than Centaur Renders would be the Kadai Fireborn. But, you know, both the Kadai and the renders are, you know, over 1,300 gold. I think Fireborn are 1,400. Renders are 1,600. That's a lot of gold to be banking and spending. And he's been using a lot of that on the Wolf Raiders, who unfortunately, for Solo, he just couldn't get to all of his units in time and build up a force here to contend with the Fleshhounds, Furies, and Minotaurs that I had out over here. And these guys are just locking this objective down. I'm going to take a charge into the Sneaky Gits here, doing some great damage. I just love this unit. I mean, they are amazing. So much utility in this particular ROR. Blocking up all of these units as well. Popping Horn of Corn to get a little bit of extra damage out of these guys before they dissipate and go down. And back on the middle, Bloodletters on the point. Gonna cap Minotaurs. Valkia, she took a few shots flying in, tied up the missiles, and the Minotaurs just ran over these guys and completely flattened them. And it's pretty much a GG here. I'm about to take the triple cap. There's just some hobgoblins on the field. Astrogoth a little bit too low to make the difference. And he just can't get any units onto the objective at this point. And I had infantry waddling forward at all angles. Finally securing the ground for the Blood God. And we're going to be taking this victory home. Really well played to Spaghetto. He really had me on the ropes in the early going. But luckily, I was able to get that big play out there on the flank with the two Chaos Knights tying up both of the Blunderbusses while the Fleshhounds charged in and just took him out. Got a good rear charge there and got enough damage to break both those units and take them out. So, loving that. But they still got good value. You can see how cost-effective these Blunderbusses are. You know, and I think maybe with just a little bit more of a closed formation and playing a little bit more in a box with them, I think maybe he could have swung that game a little bit more effectively in his favor. Really good value on Astrogoth. Killing my poor Skull Cannon, which got okay value. Nothing stupendous, though. This thing is more here to... I was there to counterfire the Bow Riders. You know, typically... at least from my past experience, you see a lot of the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders with bows. And the Skull Cannon's very effective against those kind of skirmish cavalry. Very heavily armored, doesn't take too much damage from them, and, you know, just is very durable and good at hitting cavalry units, as opposed to infantry where it tends to overshoot a little bit sometimes. But I think I'm going to call it there, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed. GG's. Peace.